It doesn't take a genius to figure out that Texas has become one of the frontline states facing the very real consequences of the climate crisis. From Sunday evening into midday Monday, the skies opened up on the Dallas-Fort Worth area, where thunderstorms dropped massive amounts of rain, inundating streets, flooding homes, and forcing drivers to abandon their cars. One woman was killed after her car was swept away by floodwaters. While rainfall in Dallas was enough to break a one-day record, it was not enough to end the state's worst drought since 2011. Almost the entire state was under some sort of severe level drought. It's been so bad that cattle ranchers have been forced to sell off their cows because pasture land is dried up and hay is too expensive. Parts of South Texas served by reservoirs across the Rio Grande are facing water shortage problems. And the excruciatingly high temperatures have put increased pressure on an already fragile electrical grid. Governor Greg Abbott, who earlier today refused to even utter the words climate change, has made Texas the poster child for fighting climate-focused legislation, directing state agencies to challenge any federal action. Naturally, he opposes the Inflation Reduction Act, even though Texas will be a major beneficiary, since Texas produces more wind energy than any other state, and it's second only to California in clean energy jobs. But that's not the only storm that's brewing in Texas. Joining me now is a Democratic nominee for Texas governor, former Congressman Beto O'Rourke. He's the author of the new book, We've Got to Try: How the Fight for Voting Rights Makes Everything Else Possible. And voting is my thing. It's my favorite thing to talk about. So I definitely want to get to that with you. But I want to start by talking about this situation in Texas, because it feels like in some fundamental ways, this massive state that could be a little country has utterly failed to account for what climate change will do to it.
First of all, we just want to urge everyone in North Texas to follow the precautions laid out by public leaders like Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins. Also, make sure that you're getting in your damage reports for FEMA reimbursement. We're there for those who are undergoing the worst flooding and the worst rainfall that we've seen in 1,000 years in this part of Texas. But Joy, to your point, these are the consequences of our emissions, our inaction in the face of the consequences of climate change, and our inability to take the right steps, the action necessary to confront this before it's too late. No state contributes more to climate change than Texas. No state suffers the consequences more than the state of Texas. But the upside of this is no state could do more to change this than the state of Texas. We're the energy leader of the world today, primarily through oil and gas, and we're grateful for that. But let's expand that leadership to include more renewable energy, wind and solar and hydrogen and geothermal, the jobs that come along with that. We want those here in Texas, and we want to do our part before it's too late. Dallas, Mesquite, these communities understand it today. Houston understood it in 2017. And as you mentioned, much of the state is going through an historic drought that is just hammering these farmers and ranchers throughout Texas. It's time for us to act.
You know, and Texas, because of its scale, because of its size, it really has become sort of an experiment, like a laboratory. Unfortunately, for some of the worst things that have happened in the United States in terms of our culture, in terms of voting rights, it led the way in making it incredibly hard for people to vote, focused on, Houston, that area, Harris County, on abortion. Stripping women of the right to choose and then putting bounties on their heads. In terms of textbooks, refusing to even have Texas history properly taught in schools, which impacts textbooks all over the country. How do you change that?
It's all connected. I don't think we get these results, like a total ban on abortion with no exception for rape or incest that Greg Abbott signed into law. I don't think you get the attacks on public school educators who are so grossly underpaid and under constant attack from their governor and their state government. You don't get this if we have a true functioning democracy where the right to vote is respected. But today in Texas, it's harder to vote. It's harder to register to vote here than in any other state, and it's by design. And some Texans are more the focus of that suppression than are others. When you have 750 polling place closures in our state, twice the number of the next closest state, and most of them concentrated in the fastest growing Black and brown neighborhoods in the state of Texas, then you understand exactly what's happening. The only answer to this is more democracy, getting on the doors of those who are the targets of suppression and intimidation, making sure that we help to turn them out so that they provide the margin of victory on the night of November 8th. That's what this book, We've Got to Try, is about. We've been up against the odds before, greater odds, and have overcome them. So not only is this possible, we've done it before. Lawrence Nixon, I try to tell his story in the book, an El Paso physician, founded the first chapter of the NAACP in the state of Texas. And when Texas outlawed voting by African Americans in 1923, he fought it for 21 years, won 2 signal Supreme Court victories, integrated our elections in 1944, and set the ground for LBJ to sign the Voting Rights Act in '65. Those victories came from Texas. So this is the home to that suppression and this extremism that you're describing, but it's also the home to people who meet the moment. And that's what we're going to do in this election.
The last thing, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about Uvalde, the tragedy there, and the many other gun massacres that have broken the hearts of the entire country, if not the world. It's one of the things that you've been strongest on. You had a little F-bomb moment recently that I think a lot of people were, hell-yeahing you for. Why is it so difficult to pass gun reform in Texas when you could do it in Florida, where Marion Hammer is the de facto governor?
It's because of Greg Abbott, our current governor, who is more beholden to the NRA, the special interests, the gun manufacturers, than he is to the very people he's supposed to serve, especially our kids. It's been 13 weeks since those 19 kids and their 2 teachers were taken from us. 13 weeks where he's failed to call a special session, even though he's called them for CRT and going after trans kids and weakening the right to vote in the state of Texas. Won't call it to save the lives of our children. And now they're all starting this next school year, Joy, without any new protections to prevent them from experiencing the same exact fate that those kids in Uvalde or Santa Fe High School before them, or El Paso, Midland, Odessa, Sutherland Springs. 5 of the worst mass shootings in U.S. history have taken place in this state in the last 5 years. We need action and we need change, and we need it now.
Beto O'Rourke, thank you so much for being here. Best of luck with the book. I hope everybody will check it out and read it. It's so important. It's about voting, and that is so important. Best of luck in your campaign, Beto O'Rourke. Appreciate you.